We want to welcome Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman back here with us in the studio, continuing to discuss the Commonwealth's response to the spreading coronavirus and how to curb the spread. And this is something we were just talking about is kind of the new normal right now, and it could change day to day, really.
It will change day to day. You know, you're going to see more cases expand. You're going to see more fatalities. I mean, that's a fact. That's not pessimism. That's where we're headed. And it's important for all Pennsylvanians, all of us, to remember we are really, truly in this together. And we are required to take collective small actions every day to do your part. It's not just rhetoric. It's a guaranteed way to make this less severe. You know, do you miss normal? I do, and I'm sure your viewers do. The best way to get back towards that is to do these steps now and make these sacrifices now and change and curtail your life to the best ability and make sure that we minimize what is going to be a spike in these cases, not only across Pennsylvania, but across the country.
So what are some of the biggest concerns that you've heard from people across the state of Pennsylvania?
Everything. I mean, you know, whether it's childcare, whether it's my children's schools, whether it's will we have enough food, and they're all valid. You know, anxiety and concern. If you're not in those two camps, you're not paying attention. But the one camp we can never go to is panic, because that's never going to help the situation. You know, this idea that, you know, to be absolutely clear, grocery stores, gas stations, and other kind of critical infrastructure will not close. The governor was very clear on that. There's plenty of food in the systems. And this evolving list of businesses that are closed and open can expand or contract, but just know that it's a fluid, dynamic situation. And the things that we absolutely know is that calm, kindness, and realizing that we're all in this together, and not hoarding and not, you know, being, you know, just unkind to people. And it's just critical. These little things right now have never been more important.
So mental health and panic, those two things. I don't think that we're going to tackle that issue right here in this conversation, but I do want to talk to you about that, because how do we make sure that people aren't panicking when they're inundated with information about what's happening, not just here in Pennsylvania or in Western PA, but across the country and the world?
It comes from a place, for me, is you know, I have 3 young kids under the age of 11, and it's explaining to them, it's like, yeah, some people are going to get sick, and there's going to be a new way of life for the foreseeable future, you know, on the horizon. That doesn't have to be, I mean, it's not what anyone wants, but it's where we're at. And we all, you know, have a collective ability to help mitigate that. And that's what I want them to understand. And they miss their friends. They understand why they can't have play dates. But everyone has to understand their part in all of that. And especially with kids, you know, we want to make sure that we project going forward that, yeah, there's going to be some bumps. But at the end of the day, we're going to emerge from this much more wise and much more, I think, in tune with what's really important, and that's each other. And we have to make sure that we don't, you know, kind of veer out of the lane right now. We all have that job to do.
Have you had conversations, I'm sure that you have, with the governor and with other state officials about the next steps in all of this? I mean, we've seen what's happened and progressed so far in the last few weeks.
You know, you know, look at what's happening in other countries, or look what's happening in other states, whether it's neighboring or in California. These are all measures. They all have one thing in common: to shut things down, not to create economic damage or to be insensitive to families' needs. It's to stop the spread of this. And as I said the last time we sat down, the trend is towards more closures, more disruptions, more restrictions. And I would say that's absolutely true. And I would just make and urge people to realize that that's the direction that we're most likely heading in. And the news isn't going to get necessarily better before it starts to, we know where we're headed with this. And the steps you take today will impact the headlines next week. That's what I keep telling people. The things you're willing to do tomorrow will affect the headlines 2 weeks from now. I mean, it's a processional effect, and it all starts with us.
For those watching at home who are out of work, who are watching their bank accounts dwindle, for the parents at home sitting there with their kids, what do we tell them to do to prepare for these next steps that are kind of unknown right now?
One thing we also know is there will be a federal response and there will be a state response to that. And that is almost certainly going to involve some kind of universal basic income or some kind of cash assistance that's going to help those very few people. And that is critical. I mean, obviously, people need resources for basic living expenses. I suspect, whether it's mortgage payments, whether it's other kind of suspensions, I think are going to continue. Utility shutoffs. These are the kind of things, because we are facing an unprecedented situation right now, and that's going to require some unprecedented measures. And I see less partisan bickering, than we had a week ago or a month ago.
Right.
And we're all in this together. And again, you look back over the great challenges we as a people have faced in this country. Whether it goes back to World War I, World War II, the Spanish flu of 1918, these are the kind of challenges that we're going to have, right now.
Right.
And panic isn't helpful. It's never helpful. And concern and anxiety is perfectly normal if you don't have those kind of feelings right now. I would say, who looked at the guy partying in Miami Beach like, yay,
right.
No one's there. That's the outlier. Where we all should be is being, stay home, stay informed, and stay calm.
Okay.
And that's the truth. And you will know what we know. You will get the latest updates. These questions are all available online. And I just would urge patience. I mean, look at the unemployment numbers are going to continue to skyrocket. Mm-hmm. The idea that an infrastructure that's built for usual ebb and flow of the economy is not ready to handle what we're dealing with. Right. So there's going to be delays, and there's going to be a lot of dislocation, and that's going to fuel more anxiety, and all of that's understandable. But right now, it's patience and calm and social distancing and shutting it down if you can shut it down. And I want to thank grocery store workers. They're literally on the front line.
They're the heroes right now.
Absolutely. I mean, no one's getting rich working at Giant Eagle right now, but they're out there doing it every day. Right. And providing this critical service. So, the person across from you at that cash register at the other end of that tweet or the phone call is going through this just like you are. This is universal. And try to remember that and realize that what you can do is to help mitigate where we are. And that to me is as critical as we can be, because I suspect all these restrictions and all these other things are going to remain in place for the foreseeable future. Yeah,
it's important to remember the people who are keeping us afloat. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor, for coming in and talking with us this morning, trying to bring a sense of calm to all of this.